I'm Dane with Scoggin-Dickey Parts Center, and we're going to have a little bit of a safety talk and not so much as a tech tip this week. This one, of course, is going to be about nitrous. You've probably seen previous videos that I've talked about safety. It's super important, even though that a lot of times in our own society, especially in this culture, that it's usually safety third. We're more reactive than proactive whenever it comes to our safety, and sometimes we're not so fortunate to be able to actually, fix that problem after the fact. So this one here has been discussed a lot. You're going to have a lot of people that, there are fights in forums and Facebook groups and text messages and all sorts of stuff. These things are notorious for some pretty, it would be explosive results. And it's not because they explode like what you have in, the Fast and Furious scene when, his Eclipse goes airborne or anything else like that. Yes! We're not talking about that. These are pressure vessels. And pressure vessels, whenever it comes down to a compressed gas, when they rupture in a big way, and not in a very nice way as well. So, a lot of people worry about, oh, I'm going to knock this over and the neck is going to break off or whatever, and the bottle is going to go spinning around. Yeah, that's scary. That's absolutely scary. And I know people, friends, and coworkers and everything else that have been chased by bottles in their shops because something broke off, whether it be a nitrous bottle or another type of pressure vessel. This one is in regard to the date on these nitrous bottles. So I've worked at a speed shop before. Nick, off camera, has also worked at a speed shop before, and we've filled these nitrous bottles before. And it's not fun. It's one of those things where we kind of, we got our safety squints and we're charging these things up for you guys that are going to be taking it out to the track or maybe the street. I don't know. But either which way, we're not going to judge about where you use it because the important thing is using it safely and wisely. So you see two different bottles here. We actually were loaned to this one was actually by Daniel Pacino, one of our sales guys, and this was from Jason Dennis as well. So these are interesting because the fact that really when it comes down to it for safety, what I'm really focused on is actually going to be the bottle date. You guys see this? I mean, this is a nice bottle. Like that is some vintage labeling there. And so this one is actually a quite the old bottle. It's almost as old as I am, actually. So this bottle, on the crown of this, you have a variety of stuff that's stamped across here. It's going to be your DOT stamping and everything, where it would be made, as well as some serial numbers for the production line. And then it comes down to this little spot towards the back that you have the first two digits before it's a triangle, and then another two digits. So the first two digits is the month, and then after the triangle, the two digits is the year. This one says 1184. That's right. This thing is old.
Why are you so old?
So this is definitely one of those where it's like, you look at this and you're like, I probably shouldn't use this. It had been recertified in 2010, but safety guidelines overall for nitrous bottles is that you need to have it, it's hydrostatic tested every 5 years. Okay, so that's if you take care of the bottle. So the real big thing about this is that these things, when they let loose in a big way. Our friend Dave Vassar over at Nitrous Outlet has been a very vocal person in our community about this because it darn near killed one of his friends. And recently we did have somebody in the racing community lose their life on that. These things need to be taken seriously. So this bottle here is very old. It's also very empty. we made sure about that because I wouldn't even want to be in the same room as this thing if it was full. So really the thing is you can actually have these bottles, and as long as they test good afterwards, like you can take them to a scuba dive shop or some other welding refill shops that will have the capability of testing these cylinders. You can have them recertified, and that's great. I'm not going to judge you about that because you're actually, being proactive and getting a test. Now, of course, the other thing that you're going to have is the old necks and stuff probably aren't going to be worth it to have it, modified to be able to accept a larger high flow valve or anything else like that with the newer nitrous bottles. So Dave Vassar over at Nitrous Outlet actually has a bottle, it's a bottle buyback program. He takes in old bottles like this one, and then, pretty much any old bottles. He's even taken in some of his old ones that he had when he first started the business. And they'll actually completely cut the top off of this and then have them remade into like trash cans and stuff like that. So it's a nice decoration and a cool conversation piece that you can have either, in your garage, in your office, whatever, bathroom. There's other ways to make these into toilet paper holders or whatever. So it's something to be mindful of, especially whenever it comes down to the age of these bottles. It's something that, you need to pay attention to, not just for yourself, but your friends and family, because we don't want these accidents in the community. It's a big ordeal. Also, whenever it comes down to bottle safety, you've seen it tons of times in all sorts of street racing or whatever, grudge racing, stuff like that. The guys are trying to get as much of the pressure as possible out of these bottles, and so they've got a torch after it or anything else like that. Nick and I would not accept bottles that had visible torch marks because we just straight up we're not gonna work on it. You might be able to take it to a friend or whatever and have them refill it, but how good of a friend are you by taking something over there that might actually be really a bomb? It's something that we need to be more mature about in a lot of ways, because of course stuff like this gets into the news, and then other people start trying to limit what we can do and have fun and enjoy driving our cars and racing. So this one, it's an old fella. So like I had said, 1984. That's a long time. So this bottle over here that was brought to us by Daniel, this one was February 2021. So he's actually getting really, really close to having to have this one recertified at some point in time. And I actually mentioned it to him so that he didn't really know about that. And there's probably a lot of people out in our community that don't know about the 5-year cycle on these. Same thing goes with carbon fiber bottles. That's usually 3 to 5 years. I'm not really privy on the process for all that, but you can always contact your nitrous bottle supplier, whether it be Nitrous Express, NOS, Nitrous Outlet, anybody else like that. They can actually guide you on it and give you an idea of what you need to do to be able to either get it recertified or get a new bottle. A lot of these guys are doing bottle exchange programs. Just ask, really, because they don't want their names on this if there's a bottle failure. The other thing to be mindful of is safety valves. Don't disable the safety valves. There was a Chevy SS or something along those lines, or a G8 that literally blew up in traffic. I think it was a year or two ago. Scattered that car completely, and they're already rare enough in the United States as it is already. And yet somebody had blocked the bypass valve off with a little MPT plug, and that bottle ruptured after it got overheated. And it's a wonder that nobody got injured in that. So really, it's kind of a downer, so to speak, but it's something that we really needed to talk about with safety, because I want you guys to stay safe. I want my friends and coworkers and family to stay safe, and I want us all to be able to enjoy our race cars, because we don't want to give anybody any excuses to take them away or to make it harder for us to enjoy them. So once again, thanks for stopping by. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe our videos. We've got more stuff coming, and we'll see you guys next week.